let's do this.
Yeah, go ahead. Any questions you want? What are you guys trying to build?
We're doing a robot competition. So basically, we have to build a robot that can do a bunch of different tasks. And but the whole basically, we have to do like research behind it. And the research theme this year is like about animals with prosthetics.
And are you going to actually fit a prosthesis on a dog, or are you just writing about it?
No, we write about it, research the topic, and then we present. It's like part of our robot thing.
Okay, cool. Well, I started this company in 2005, probably around the time you guys were born, right? And there's only about 6 of us in the world that make these prosthetic and orthotic devices.
Soon there will be 7.
Yeah. Me and a guy in Colorado were the first 2 guys ever to come up with this whole field of veterinary orthotics and prosthetics. So I'm your man when it comes to answering all your questions.
One question is, what sort of study did you do, or what kind of schooling did you do?
I went to Penn State University undergrad for kinesiology. A lot of people go biology or bioengineering, and then I went to Northwestern University Med School for orthotics and prosthetics specifically. But that's human stuff, and then I had to teach myself. The veterinary side, there's no such curriculum at this point for veterinary orthotics and prosthetics, as the field is still growing.
Now all of us are here.
Now all of us are here.
So, do you ever think that people will be able to like download like a 3D printed file and like fit it on their animal?
Yes and no. You can, the parts, like the prosthetic parts, like the wheels and the pylons and the feet can be downloaded, but the actual socket really needs a good custom fit. The problem with dogs is they have fur, so you can't 3D scan them. You can take an MRI, and then you can take that MRI and bisect the MRI at any level, skeletal level, muscular level, and then you can print out a positive mold of that model, and then you can build on top of it using 3D technology software, things like that. But you really need to combine traditional methods of casting the dog's leg, filling that negative mold with plaster of Paris, hand sculpting that positive mold to make it the shape you want, and then you can 3D scan that positive mold and then build off of that using the software. That's the best way to do it. A lot of 3D companies have contacted me. I made the world's first 3D printed prosthesis for a dog named Derby a couple of years ago. That's probably why you're calling. But yeah, a lot of people try and fail, so you got to use a combination of old school traditional methods and the new school 3D technology.
All right.
So if you're like shaping the socket and everything, is it pretty much the same as shaping a socket for a human?
To some degree. The only difference is, the anatomy is not as consistent across the board with canines. Unlike humans, you can do the same types of modifications to shape the socket for a prosthesis. For dogs, it's a little bit different, and their skin integrity and the muscle is a lot different across the board with dogs, so it's not as easy. The only good thing about making them for animals is aesthetically, you're not trying to fit these things into a shoe. You can build up foam much more. So it's kind of like you can do different things with animals to make it easier, but a lot of people have tried to make companies and do this, and again, a lot of them have failed. So, good luck with everything. I'm trying to help you as far as knowing what to do and what to write about, but just really writing and telling people that the mix of technologies using 3D and traditional methods is the main thing to get across, because a lot of people are going to try and do this in the future just using 3D technology solely. And yes, it can be done, but unlike popular belief, you guys might think printing out a prosthesis is quicker than me building it from scratch by hand. I can build Derby's prosthetics in a few hours, and it took 10 hours for top 3D designers to come to my office and design that socket. So I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I could have had a couple prosthetics done in full by the time it took just for them to design the part of the socket. So
What was the most unique animal that you had to do?
Elephant.
What
Yeah.
part did you
Yeah.
do for it?
I figured.
Front leg.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just the sheer size and weight of everything was tough.
Yeah.
What else you guys got?
So building the prosthetics, it's just as much software as it is hardware, right?
For the 3D, yeah, I mean, the problem with the software is it's not very user friendly. You know, I had to hire like a 19-year-old genius and to kind of learn everything. Like, there's so many degrees of freedom, it makes it tough. The software really needs to change and get a little more user friendly. The materials that are 3D printed need to change as well because they're often pretty brittle. The prosthetics we made for Derby were printed from a $700,000 printer. And, you know, if you buy, I spent $200,000 last couple of years on 3D technology, and I sold most of it just because it's not as cost effective either. So the costs of 3D printed materials are way more expensive than the traditional plastics like polypropylene, polyethylene that we use. You know, per cubic inch it can cost like $4 or $5 for 3D printed plastics. You also have to know about the 3D printers themselves. Like, some of them use like UV curing, so if the prosthesis was out in the sun, it would just pretty much disintegrate. They also can disintegrate in heat and things like that, so they're just a lot more brittle. So we use just like regular plastics that last kind of forever for these dogs, and it's a lot cheaper and much more durable. I do think the technology in the next year or two will come around and the software will become more user friendly. So I do think in the next couple of years 3D printing will be used more often.
What about for an equine?
So I didn't hear you.
What about for equines, like horses, donkeys?
Equine, just their whole vascular system is, you know, it's tougher to make things. So I do prosthetics and orthotics for horses and donkeys and things. Again, you gotta worry about weight. So with the 3D printed plastics, again, being more brittle, it's gonna be even harder to do that for a horse. But yeah, it can be done.
Trust me, I've had a horse step on my leg. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of weight.
They're very heavy. So.
What's the most unique prosthetic you've ever made?
Probably. I mean, the Derby ones are pretty cool just because they're 3D printed. I made a brace for a crane, like a bird. We're making a cool set of wheels for a turtle right now in the back. The biggest thing I've always wanted to make is a neck brace for a giraffe. Maybe I'll get that sometime. I mean, we do deer, sheep, llama, goat, donkeys,